Working mom guilt. Do any of you out there have it? Well, according to our next guest, you working moms should stop stressing because your child is fine. Author Liza Garcia joins us to tell you why. Good morning, Lisa.
Good morning.
Thanks for coming back. And I definitely want to touch on this, but while you don't believe in it, let's address what this stress is that we're talking about.
I agree. Well, first of all, for many women, you end up having guilt in many areas of your life, not just the mom guilt. You'll have maybe the working guilt, the spousal guilt, and it's a huge pressure and a huge stressor that I don't think needs to be part of our lives. So what I have found is when I am not with my children, I don't have guilt about that, because when I am with my children, I'm there and I'm present and I'm involved. And I also think that you can turn what you might term as your guilt, you can rethink that in a way that you might teach your children the importance of having you there or not having you there.
You know, and I know we've got a few tips and a few statistics that we do want to talk about here during this segment. One of the statistics that really stood out to me was talking about daughters of working mothers grow up to be more successful in the workplace than their peers.
They absolutely do, and there are many studies about that, and actually a lot of writing, a lot of blogging about that. And the idea is really simple. The idea is this idea that children emulate their parents, right? So as a single working mom, my two daughters emulate me, and I have fun stories when they were super young, being on play phones and hearing them say, "I'm on a conference call, don't talk." I love it. I mean, little teeny, right? So if they are emulating me when they're 3 years old, they're emulating me now. Another fun story is my daughters have already started a company called Sisters in Style, where they style outfits for me and then they charge me, but they're already entrepreneurs because they're my daughters.
Wow. Well, I know that you say too there are myths out there that we want to address, so it's a great time to bring this up. Let's talk about a few of these. People think that the academics will suffer?
There are myths, and sometimes the myths are perpetuated in terms of other moms possibly thinking incorrectly. My daughters, for instance, are A students, and it's not that it's an easy road for them to be A students. It's because we focus, and I am maybe hyper-focused on their academics with them, and they understand the benefits and the rewards of being good students. So there are not statistics that necessarily say that if you're in a single parent family, the grades and the academics are less than a two-person family.
And the same thing on the extracurricular activities as well.
Right. Well, and some of the extracurricular activities, I've talked to many moms about that, have to do with finances, honestly. However, with camps and with nonprofits and with scholarships, it's not necessarily money that will get your children into extracurricular activities. It's really, again, from the parent standpoint, a focus, a commitment, finding out what the available programs are, and then fostering your children's talents or passions. And that's what I'm about, and especially as we talked about in the summertime, summer is an opportunity to find a passion or a talent that your children don't necessarily even know they have.
Well, I want to give you a chance as we're closing up here to talk about your book and how your book actually, I mean, you are an author and it ties into this whole concept.
Thank you. Well, I'm on a book tour, nationwide book tour with Barnes & Noble right now for my book, Never Drink Coffee During a Business Meeting. And I used to say my book is a book about mentoring and helping women and men get into corporate America and move through that. And what I would say in my first company was that my training of being a manager was definitely parental training. So I use what I've learned from managing employees over the years to parenting my children.
Wow. Well, great tips. Again, great book. More to cover on this one. We appreciate your time today, Lisa.
Thank you.
Take care, and thanks for joining us.
Natalie.